Girls, I gotta keep it real with you. Because, if a Ghost Who Walks does anything, he keeps it real. Bitches, I am drunk. Boy, howdy. Just got done with a bossed out band practice thing. And, much Evan Williams Kentucky bourbon was procured and absorbed. And as such, I am buzzed. So, the bear's up there, an amazing person. If you guys aren't following him, you really ought to. Asks, who is the very first person you ever followed on Tumblr? Do you still follow them today? Truth of the matter is, I trolled Tumblr for probably 3 months before creating my own blog because, while now I might feel kind of validated in the content of my blog, I'm very loath to share aspects of myself if I don't feel that they bear any relevance or importance, or at least match the quality of my potential peers in that field. So, essentially, for a long time I was following a lot of people, but in a backwards creeper fashion where I was just checking certain people's blogs, among whom would be Ursius, Film Bear, and a couple of blogs that don't exist anymore, like Mr. Benzedrin, who I miss a lot because he's sexy. And, I mean, there were probably others, but I don't know who it was that I initially followed when I actually set up my own blog, because it's been a long time ago, and so much comes across my dashboard, and so much of modern life is swift and transitory that, I couldn't pin it down to a particular person. But, there are a lot of blogs on Tumblr that I feel are indispensable and are kind of like must-haves. Like, if I had to really narrow some shit down, and this is not an all-inclusive list, so please don't be hurt if I mention you here, but again, I have to mention Ursius and Patty, Bear Cock and Undies, because he's a really fantastically wonderful friend of mine, Tom Cubby, because he's a very talented artist, and I really enjoy looking at his work, Androphilia, because he presents so much that I feel is educational to somebody seeking knowledge. My Name is Helm is another that I think is praiseworthy because he's a very clever dude, and he's very attractive, and I feel humbled by his content a lot. Julesburg, because he's a sweetheart. Decimus, which I vacillate back and forth on, and I'm not going to talk about here because I respect him too much. Get Up and Kill, because he's probably the sexiest person on the internet. Concho, because his content is hilarious. Philemy, because, again, like Julesburg, he's so fucking sweet. Life of Kuma, because we made a connection, or at least I feel like we made a connection on some level that I really appreciated. I mean, and there's multiple others. Vault Life, Synth Pop Joe, you know, people that share of themselves musically in the same way and or in a better way than I do, because they're cool. Poor Billy, because I know that, like, let's say I was a freshman and Poor Billy was a junior in high school. Poor Billy would have been the guy that I was going, I want to be like that dude because he's so fucking cool. That would have been me. And there's a lot of younger guys coming up, too, that I think are very impressive. I don't know what his blog is going under now, but if you see a bunch of Supernatural or Smallville-related posts at all, it's that guy. He's awesome, and very open, and vulnerable, and fearless, I think. And that's undauntedness is a quality in people that I find very admirable and sexy. And you've changed your name so much, Kate Bush nerd, but you know I fucking love your shit. And also The Dark End of the Street, I'm a big fan of. I mean, this list could go on forever, but... And I really like your blog, too. A Bear's Up There. The Bear's Up There. Whatever. Because, well, because you're not an idiot. And you're interesting to follow. A lot of people used to hate on Pop Icon and his boyfriend for the content of their blog, which there was a small debate that occurred about, I guess, a year ago, maybe even a shorter period of time ago, between people and Pop Icon, which I chose to weigh in on only because I greatly enjoy Pop Icon's content, because he's undaunted, and a fucking badass, and an interesting artist, and his podcasts are fucking great, and, yeah. This is similar to how I feel this hashtag that's real and I thing has played itself out. That seems to be an ignored aspect of what Tumblr could be, which is an interesting forum in which to spread ideas and to hone the craft of thinking. Because you are more than welcome to your own opinions, but you better have some shit to back those opinions up. If you don't, shut up. Sit the fuck down and shut up, because nobody cares. And I feel that that's the kind of place that hashtag is coming from. I feel like that's the kind of place I'm coming from. I feel like that's the kind of place really Fox News was coming from in her original post. I feel like that's the place that Pop Icon comes from. And as I've mentioned in other older posts, this whole fuck the haters thing is a bunch of shit. Because if all you're doing is running around spewing bile frivolously throughout the universe, then you can shut the fuck up. Yes, it's your corner of the internet, and yes, you are more than welcome to your little precious opinions. But for fuck's sake, think. That's all I'm asking. Think. And not only think, but be fearless about presenting the thought process that went behind what you thought. It doesn't matter if you 100% or only 50% believe in what you thought. At least present the materials with which you formed that opinion with. And if you don't, then your credibility goes womp 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 to zero on the Incronometer. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody listens. Nobody follows. And if they do, it's only because you're a joke. And I would hope that I'm not a joke. And I know that the other blogs that I mentioned a moment ago are not jokes, and I take them very seriously because of the attitude placed behind them, which is, again, that's very nice that you think that, but here's where I'm coming from and why. If the motivations behind your thoughts and feelings are shallow, then by default, so are you, and so is the material that you create. And I know this seems harsh, and I know it seems rude, but there have been people that I've unfollowed because basically their content served as nothing more than an irritant to me when it appeared on my dashboard. And I, of course, as per usual, went off on a tangent that is unrelated to the original question, but that's why I like people who do this kind of thing, because your question was so thought-provoking that it made me think X, 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 and Y. You badass, the bears up there. So I love you all, and I think I've prattled on enough now. Later.